Well, even though it's freezing cold out here, it still is a nice change of scenery. Always good to come back home and drive down these old country roads. Ooh, burr, burr. Hello everyone, I am Tampa J and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back home to Indiana. I'm on my way to Indianapolis to return my rental truck and to catch a plane back to Tampa. But I thought it would be fun to get there by taking some old back roads, some roads that I used to know through Henry in Hancock County. This is what I like to call an old sightseeing adventure. There is much ahead, my friends. Spiceland Pike is a highway of yesterday. Used to be the main route between Newcastle and a little town called Spiceland. Well, the sun's come out. These cattle are taking advantage of it. Welcome to Spiceland, Indiana, to the corner of Main Street and Pearl. I'm standing right here at the post office. Here's the Spiceland post office, which shares the building with Miller's Barbershop. Let's go Titans. Actually used to be a Titan myself, just like my father before me, my freshman year of high school. Always cool to see the old-time barbershop chairs. This old building across the street is Hoover Hall. Serves as a community center. I think Tri-I once had their prom there. I've had family members that used to live in Spiceland. Actually, my parents used to live here as well, but I have a lot of childhood memories right here in downtown Spiceland. This library once was the Henry County Bank. Check out the year up there. It's pretty old, and look at the old burglar alarm that's still there in the middle. The old burglar alarm says O.B. McClintock Company, Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's an antique right there. And if you check out the void in between this building and the sidewalk, it's a park now, but once stood there an old restaurant called Andy's. Now a community park, but once stood an awesome little diner that my grandfather used to bring me up here on Saturday mornings, and we'd have biscuits and gravy. The door was literally right there, and the bar in the kitchen area would have been somewhere about here where these shrubs were. We'd always sit at the bar along the counter, and there was a back entrance that we used to park here and walk into as well. This building here used to be a convenience store when I was a kid. Used to do a little grocery shopping in there with my family. Check out this. I see this old Wonder Bread sign that's still stained on the glass here. This building's old and it looks to be abandoned still. That's a wide staircase. Spiceland Elementary School, home of the Spiceland Stingers, was the elementary school of my dad. And right across the street is the Spiceland Family Friends Church. And right behind me, here's an old graveyard, which I don't think I've ever taken a stroll through. Wonder how old some of these graves might be. Well, there's no way we can tell because the stone has been washed out. But this graveyard dates back prior to the Civil War. We're talking early to mid 1800s. Here's some gravestones that look like they have been reproduced sometime in the last century. Reuben Morris was born in 1786. Died January 4th, 1864. Miriam Copeland Morris, I'm thinking may have been his wife, was born the same year and died 4 years before him. This one's fallen over, but it definitely says died September 6th, 1816. Well, we gotta head down the road. Next stop, Knightstown. Welcome to Main Street and downtown historic Knightstown, home of the Hoosiers Gym, that 1986 classic movie about Indiana basketball. And check out the mural. Hard not to notice the awesome mural in tribute to the movie filmed right here in Knightstown. Hoosiers, down at the Hoosiers Gym. We've been there before, but maybe we'll step in really quick. A lot of history on this road. This is actually Highway 40, but known as the Old National Road. I can remember coming to all these antique shops when I was a little kid with my mom. We called it antiquing. We'd come down Highway 40 and hit every antique store all the way through Henry and Hancock County. I love this little town. Always love staring at the telescope and the globe on top of the tower of what used to be the Knightstown High School. Such a beautiful building. And right behind it is the old Knightstown Gym, where I used to play a little basketball. But you know it as the Hoosiers Gym. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Indiana basketball. It's good to be sitting in the bleachers of the Hoosier Gym. The old Knightstown Gym served as the filming location for the 1986 classic, Hoosiers. I used to actually play ball here when I was a kid. It was very cool to be able to watch the movie and then come into the gym and play a few games. And the building directly beside us that we just saw before is the Knightstown Academy, built in 1876. It is on the National Registry of Historic Places. The actual school that served as the filming location of the high school in Hoosiers was in Nineveh, and it burnt down years ago. The Knightstown Gym serves as a community center. The doors are almost always open. People from around the world stop in to shoot some hoops, and all these children here, they're local though. They just got out of school. I was gonna shoot some basketball, but I think I'll just let them enjoy it. You never know. There could be a future NBA player down here, or NCAA champion. You never know. Good old game of basketball. Well, this is an old sidewalk leading up to a very old building. This is the old Hancock County Historical Log Jail. I believe this plant here is yucca. You can eat the root like a potato. I really like yucca, especially being from Tampa. A lot of good Tampano food involves yucca. Henry Gates, 1895. Have no idea. The name sounds familiar, but this concrete thing just sits here on the back of the old jail. As you can see, the prison was actually upstairs. The jail cells were upstairs. Well, they're heading this way. They must see me. They probably think I got food for them or something, because that's what I used to do. I used to come here with my mom and my little brother and feed the geese. Wow, they're beautiful. I wish I had something to give them. And look at that. Frozen solid. Very peaceful out here. Riley Park is named after James Withcomb Riley, the Hoosier Poet, who was from right here in Greenfield. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indiana state tree, the sycamore tree. It's a good example of it. Caught my eye. Had to show you. Well, I'll be darned. There she is, the Boys and Girls Club. I haven't been here in at least 25 years. That's where I started my little sports career. Little old Tampa J. Little did I know I would ever one day move to Florida, and right here is where I played my first baseball game. Welcome to downtown Greenfield, Indiana. Just in front of the Hancock County Courthouse sits a statue to commemorate, again, the Hoosier Poet, James Withcomb Riley. One of the most famous lines from his poem that I can remember is, "The goblins will get you if you don't watch out." I came over onto the other side of the building where the sun is hitting it. Brightens it up a little bit more so you can check out the detail of the architecture. Limestone, I believe that is. Every year in the fall, the town puts on Riley Days in honor of the Hoosier poet James Withcomb Riley, and it's a big small town celebration. The streets are all blocked off, there's food trucks, there's all kinds of music going on, arts and crafts. I remember my mom bringing us out here every year for Riley Days. Actually, I was in a school choir performance out there as well, now that I think about it. It's good to be back here. It's good to get out and think about these memories. Actually, I wouldn't have thought about them unless I showed up here in downtown Greenfield. They're all coming back to me now, you know what I mean? They're all coming back to me. Notice the sign up there, the marker says Historic National Road, Highway 40. We're at the corner of State Road 9 and Highway 40. Look at the old stained glass at the top. This old building here kind of reminds me of the Henry County Courthouse back in Newcastle, but it's much smaller. It says it's a prosecuting attorney's office. There are lots of historic homes in Greenfield that look just like these. This is a good example of the Victorian age. The brick and the old farmhouses, the wood houses. These are beautifully restored though. Make history, drive it. And here's a map of the old National Road through Indiana, starting in Terre Haute all the way through Indianapolis. Here we are in Greenfield, Knightstown, where we just were, through Henry County, Louisville, and then into Cambridge City, and then where my ancestors are from also, Richmond. A lot of history just in Indiana along National Road, but all the way to Baltimore. Hopefully one day, I think one of my goals is to start in St. Louis and drive all the way to Baltimore, to Tonka, which is, I think, Lakota Sioux for buffalo, as we learned in Dances with Wolves. But this buffalo sits right here in front of City Hall. Oh, look at the mural. Look at that. Sycamore trees, eagles, round barns, and good old Eli Whitney headquarters, which is located here on the old National Road. The old medical company. Had to come a little ways down this street because I saw something that caught my eye and struck another memory. Hancock County Memorial. This building erected in honor of those citizens of Hancock County who answered their country's call. I remember it of being the location of one of my birthday parties. I think my first grade birthday party. Mom and Dad rented out the auditorium. Man, I remember that party. I think I had a DJ. I always liked to do a little dancing when I was a kid. There's the old theater. Watched Dumb and Dumber there. Watched The Sandlot there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the home of the Hoosier Poet himself, James Withcomb Riley. I've talked about this house and the James Withcomb Riley Museum that sits right next to it, and how I used to take field trips and once sang in a choir performance in the backyard. And this old house to the left, well, rumor was growing up it used to be really haunted. Don't know much about its history, but I do know it's from the early 1800s as well. But here's a brief history of James Withcomb Riley, the Hoosier Poet. Editor, author, poet, lecturer, entertainer, one of the best known Hoosiers of all time. I had to put my gloves on because I was starting to get a little frostbite. My hands were getting really red and started to hurt. There's good old James right there. Hello, James. How you doing, my friend? I know it's cold out here. Very cold. Oh, you're hungry? Well, I'm hungry too. I could go for a little pizza. Pizza King. My favorite pizza in all of the world. Okay, ding-a-ling. It's time to ring the king. Table 14, please. Can I have a 10-inch royal feast and an order of breadsticks with cheese and marinara sauce? I know if my dad's watching, he's gonna be very jealous of me right now. Whoa. Oh man. Look at that. Well, look at this. All for me. Thanks for joining me once again. I hope to see you guys next time. I'm headed back to warmer weather. Next time I'll see you, I'll be back in Florida. So if you'd like to come back, I'll see you there. I hope to see you there. It wouldn't be the same without you. I am Tampa J, and there is much ahead, my friends. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.